Hey running friends, Wrinkled Runner here. Have you been to a running store yet? Last week I talked about a Couch to 5K program put out by the Roadrunners Club of America if you're interested in starting to run. And today we're going to talk about next steps, getting into a pair of running shoes. So stay tuned. When I started running, I actually used sneakers that were probably 8 to 10 years old and were mainly for walking. I was not athletic at all, and I didn't even wear sneakers that much, not to mention barely setting foot outside, except to get in the car. I mean, I have 5 kids, and I spent a lot of time just being a mom with no interest in exercise. In those days, over 14 years ago, I knew nothing about running. The only thing I knew was that it burned more calories than anything else. I wanted to lose some middle-aged weight and wanted an exercise that would help. Now that I know better, I can't believe I didn't quit. I wore plain t-shirts, shorts that really weren't for athletic use, socks that were just socks. I'm sure I felt wet all the time, and I know I had blisters all the time. I consider myself kind of a high-maintenance runner, so external things like weird smells in the air, feeling wet, my hair in my face, all makes me want to stop and walk. When I finally learned some things about running and chose a real running shoe, my feet were so much happier. My first recommendation is to find a dedicated running store to get your shoes. There are chains like Fleet Feet and also some mom and pop ones as well in some cities and towns. The staff in those kinds of stores are usually runners and knowledgeable in what may work for you. I consider things like machines that analyze your foot a little gimmicky, and a lot of running stores have them, but I would still recommend you go there rather than a huge sports store with 100 square feet of shoes for you to try and pick through. When you walk into a running store, someone is usually available to help you pretty quickly and give you personalized attention. They should ask about your running, and if you're just starting out, don't be afraid to tell them that. They will probably have you try on a few different kinds of shoes, and you should have the opportunity to run in them to see how they feel. Don't let anyone convince you more expensive is better. You are looking for comfort. While you may have a bit of a break-in period, you don't want to feel like you're fighting with your shoes for a month. You will end up injured or just not running if your shoes aren't agreeable. If the store allows you to run outside in the shoes, take the opportunity to do so. Hone in on your foot and see how it feels. Sometimes you may need to go a half or whole size bigger than what you're used to. I take a full size bigger in my running shoe and also a wide width, which I would never do in a regular shoe. So this change has only been in the past half year or so. And in 15 years of running, that completely stopped my blisters, and it's been the only thing. In addition to letting you run around before you purchase the shoes, good stores will give you a window where you can return them. We go to Fleet Feet and they give you 60 days to bring them back if you aren't happy. Don't wait 2 months though. If you just aren't happy with your shoes, do take them back and try another pair. One thing that's tempting when first starting out is buying stuff just because it's cute, looks good on you, or everyone is wearing it. Most of my friends know me, and I've said I want to take up golf just so I can wear the golf clothes because they're so cute. So there's many brands out there, and some are really popular, and they have great ad campaigns. I've learned the hard way that going for a shoe just because it's a cool color is nowhere near as important as getting the right shoe for you, no matter what it looks like. Studies have actually shown that for beginner runners, running in a comfortable shoe is what will help stave off injuries. As older runners, my husband and I both benefit from a bit more cushioning. The pendulum swings from minimalist shoes one year. Remember when everyone was wearing those Vibram 5-finger shoes? And then it swings the other way, and now everybody's in the Hokas with the deep cushioning. Again, it's a personal preference, and you may need to run a bit to find out what you like. Once you find one you like, though, a place like Fleet Feet will have you in their system for the next time. Now that you have them, don't think of your running shoes as something you compare with something to go to the grocery store. I'm a sewer as well as a runner, and one of the cardinal rules of sewing is to only use those scissors for fabric. Same goes for running shoes. Only use them for running. I don't even wear my running shoes to the gym. When shoes start to feel dead, less cushiony, the bottoms are wearing away, running on them feels like you're just running on the concrete barefoot, it's time to change them. They may not have reached the magic 500-mile mark, which running wisdom usually says that's when to change them, and that's okay. I suffered a stress fracture a few years ago, and my sports therapist told me to change out my shoes every 300 miles instead of every 500. So everyone is different. This is where a shoe log comes in. Tracking how many miles you have run on them is a good practice to get into right away, right when you start running. I set up a running journal in Evernote, and I have that video here on YouTube channel, which you can check out. Or you can read it with pictures over on the Wrinkled Runner website, and I'll link to both. You can use whatever you want to track, of course, including just a piece of paper, a paper journal, whatever you prefer. Just make sure you have some way to figure out how many miles is on those shoes. One rule I follow for replacing everything from laundry detergent to shampoo to running shoes is to get that replacement when the product is 3/4 used up. That way I always have it when the old runs out. One word about socks: buy good ones to go with your shoes. I personally use Balaga after much experimentation. You may find a different brand works for you, but do invest in some good running socks, and only use those when you run too. Once you find a brand and version of shoe that you can't live without, you'll be able to shop for them online without having to get fitted. The other advantage to getting replacements online is you should be able to get that particular version for a few years at a good discount. Eventually that specific version won't be available, and you should go back to the shoe store to try on different shoes. I usually start with the newer version of whatever brand I've been using, and sometimes the newer version works for me, and other times I find I need to find a completely different shoe and a completely different brand. Again, going to a running store can help you with that process. When you've made the decision to start running, getting that first pair of shoes is such a treat. And since you have made the investment, it's a great motivator to go out and try them out. Even for those of us who've run for a number of years, getting a new pair, feeling that spring in our step is actually very exciting. So if you have any questions about getting your first pair of running shoes or about starting to run in general, you can comment down below. Send me an email at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com. I'm always looking for running topics to help people with, so that if you have any running questions, I'd be interested in hearing from you. You can link from my website in the description and see what's going on over there. But before you go, hit subscribe so you're alerted whenever there's a new video. Sign up for my once-a-month newsletter, and on the first Saturday of each month, you'll get links to whatever has been going on here on the YouTube channel or on the website. You'll also get an update on what my running has been like over the last few weeks. I answer all running-related questions for anyone who asks. Next week, I'll be reviewing the book My Year of Running Dangerously by CNN correspondent Tom Foreman. Tom is a runner who chronicled his journey about running in his 50s, training for a marathon with his daughter. The book review will be up next Wednesday. For now, though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the run.